Hey there, welcome back. This is Pixelazy for another leg of my flight around the world in Flight Simulator 2020. We're gonna leave on an early morning flight out of Nome, Alaska. Flight 113 with service to Russia, Provideniya Bay. My Russian pronunciations are not going to be great for the next couple of weeks. But it is looks like a small airport, just sort of on the far northern tip, just across the Bering Sea. So it is actually pretty early in the morning here. We are just going to get things rolling, do a little takeoff. Take off to the southwest out of the raging metropolis of Nome, Alaska. And then we're going to head out over the ocean. I don't know what the weather's like really. It's looks like a lightly cloudy day. And it's probably not going to be a terribly interesting flight, but that's what we get for taking this long northern route up and over. And most of my flight, about 200 nautical miles of it today, are going to be right over the ocean. So the Bering Sea, in fact. So it's all over water. So this might just be a short video, or I might combine it with another stretch. We'll see how it goes, see how interesting it is.
Anchorage Center, Lazy Lima 113 is type Cessna Skyhawk 1 miles west of Papa Alpha Oscar Mike. Request flight following. Lazy Lima 113 Anchorage Center. Squawk 2357. Squawk 2357 Lazy Lima 113. Lazy Lima 113 radar contact 2 miles west of Papa Alpha Oscar Mike 900 feet. Altimeter 30.42.
This is it. We're saying goodbye to Alaska. We're saying goodbye to North America. And we're heading off into Russia, Asia, hopefully down to Australia soon. And into the darkness. Check in with you in a little bit. We're well on our way now. About 25 minutes into the flight, and we took off in the pitch black of night with just a hair of sunrise. And now the sunrise is chasing us across the Bering Sea. That's the last glimmers of the Alaskan coastline behind us. But if we look ahead, there is not much to see. A lot of open ocean. Still pretty dark for that sunrise. This simulator has some amazing sunrises. I don't know if sunrises are like this every day where you are, but they certainly aren't like this every day where I am. But every time I fly at dawn or dusk, the views are always something worth watching. So I don't necessarily mind missing some of the regular average scenery of what I'd see going over the ocean here, but the colors and the light have changed that to make this a little more interesting as a flight. Following our course pretty precisely here, another 163 nautical miles until we reach Russia and begin our invasion. So stay tuned. We're about halfway into the flight, halfway across the Bering Sea. The sun is up, but we're in some low cloud. I'm just cruising around 2,500 feet here. above the water. Directly below me is the Bering Sea. Way back, about 100 miles behind me, is the shore of Alaska. And about 100 miles ahead of me is the coast of Russia. This little jump was not the shortest point between Russia and Alaska, but it was the kind of the quickest two airport connections that I could find. So we are cruising along, trying to keep our course fairly tight to the planned course. And there's not really much to see besides this orange mist as the sun creeps above the horizon and we fly away and try and make this one grueling crossing onto another continent so that we can do some serious exploration on this trip around the world. This is not one of my more exciting flights, I'll admit, but if you've been following some of my other legs of my journey, my plane's name is Pixel, my call sign is Lazy, and I started in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada about 2.5 weeks ago, and I've been doing a point-to-point circumnavigation of the whole planet Earth in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I'm logging my adventures at pixelazy.ca, pixelazy.ca, and my plan during this pandemic lockdown is to replace some of the travel I've been unable to do with a virtual trip in this little Cessna, this little plane, which only flies as parts of this journey, never taking off from an airport I haven't landed at, and making one leg at a time, usually somewhere between 150 to 300 mile increments. We went down through Alberta, British Columbia, back up the British Columbia coast into Alaska, followed the coast up to Alaska, and then at Anchorage did a couple flights, 3 flights in fact, jumping over to Nome where we took off from this morning. And now we're en route to Russia, which is over on the Asian continent, and we'll work our way through Russia and find our way down the coast of Asia. I'll spend quite a bit of time in Asia the next month or two, exploring Japan, a little bit into China. If I can stop by Korea first, I might do that, see what's going on there, and then down into Southeast Asia, around some of the islands, eventually towards Australia. So that's going to be a lot of little flights, a lot of little jumps. Hopefully a lot more interesting to see than a orange haze in the morning. And now as I'm talking, I'm losing altitude and I'm swerving off and on around my course because I'm only half paying attention, but we'll find our way back. We'll find our way over to the shores and eventually make a landing, and the real adventure begins after this video, I guess. About an hour and a half into my flight, and as I kind of skirt below the clouds here, trying to maintain some sort of visual contact with the ocean, Bering Sea, by my estimations based on my flight computer, which you can see on the left screen there. A little chunk of green land that's appeared. About half an hour ago I made radio contact with a Russian flight control, and I don't know how well it'll show up on the video, but I'm just getting glimmers of the edge of the Russian continent up there. So probably somewhere between 5 and 10 miles off the coast. It's a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a peninsula. It looks like a very man-made sort of piece of land, almost like a breaker that extends out into the sea here. And there's sort of a triangle-shaped piece of water, whether it's a port of some kind, I'm not sure. But that is our first contact with somewhere outside of North America on this adventure so far. So very exciting. We are almost across the Bering Sea. It's taken about an hour and a half of flying across ocean, and just you can see the sun is a little higher up than when we left, but we are sort of flying ahead of the sunrise there. I'm not sure what the local time is. I think we passed through a couple time zones, even though my internal flight clock hasn't changed. It's still on Nome, Alaska time, but I think it's sort of like 4 in the morning where I'm at in this flight. But we're gonna keep on course, and there you go. First glimpse of Russia as we fly around the world. We've left North America for the first time. This is very, very cool. And there we are, flying over the first little bit of Russian landscape that we're going to see for a while. There's one little lone building down there, some sort of outpost on the edge, looking out at Alaska. See, there's sort of an open waterway, sort of this triangle-shaped chunk of land. Seeing the flight computer down there. Not sure I have any information about this, and I highly doubt there's a Wikipedia article about it, so maybe if somebody knows, they can let me know in the comments if you know anything about this. But this is it. Welcome to Russia. I know a lot of you probably watch flight simulator videos because you want to see the epic landscapes. I have been playing this game, playing this simulator now, I guess, for about 3 weeks. And not quite daily, but you know, almost like 3 or 4 times a week I play. And I've seen some spectacular things, but not the least of which has been the weather simulation in this. And the sky, and the colors, and the sunsets. I mean, it's all...
Anadir Center, Lazy Lima 11 tree. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. Lazy Lima 11 tree, Anadir Center. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Kind of disappointed you didn't get a
Charlie airspace, Lazy Lima 11 tree.
Russian accent there. That would have been pretty cool. But right now we're just flying between 2 peninsulas and crossed over the first chunk of land. As you can tell, I was going to say the lighting, the weather, the sky effects. I mean, I don't imagine these landscapes are anything amazing, but they're definitely mysterious. So this is going to be a bit of a challenging approach. As you can see, my destination airport, Provideniya Bay. This is in northern Russia. Has appeared on the screen. We're about 3.5 miles out. And if you can sort of make out the in the right screen there on the flight computer, got a little bit of a mountain to fly over here. I'm just going to pay attention to that for a minute.
500.
Buzz that mountain. A little rolling hill more than a mountain. And there's a body of water, and the runway sort of lines up with the body of water, north to south, sort of. So we're going to do a swoop around, line up our approach that way. I guess we can lose some altitude here, lower our throttle a little bit. So there's the water we're looking for. I want to fly up that little inlet, and the runway should be just off the end of the inlet there. So we don't want to lose too much altitude, but I need to have enough so that I can see what I'm doing. Get below this fog. There we go. So if you're new to Flight Simulator, what you do is you plot out a course, destination and arrival, and it plots it all out in the flight computer and gives you an estimation on when you'll arrive and
500.
where you have to go, and then the airport, your destination airport, usually shows up about 5 miles out. Then you hope you get landing clearance.
Tower Lazy Lima 113, 2 miles south to land. Lazy Lima 113 Tower. Enter right downwind runway 20. Altimeter tree 0.3, 5 wind 19er at 9er.
And it's getting mad because I'm coming at it the wrong way.
Make right traffic runway 20 Lazy Lima 113.
But we're on our approach, and I'm just going to take it because I gotta go have other things to do today. So nice gentle landing.
Lazy Lima 113, you were not cleared to land. Clear the runway.
I was cleared to land, I just landed the wrong way. So this is it. Welcome to Russia. Our first stop outside of North America. Provideniya Bay.
Lazy Lima 113, you were not cleared to land. Clear the runway.
And doesn't look like there's much of a taxiway to anything here, so I'm just gonna pull off to the side, put on my brakes. Oh, there we go. There's the airport up ahead. Never mind.
Lazy Lima 113, you were not cleared to land. Clear the runway.
I'm not making any friends in Russia on my first day.
Lazy Lima 113, ATC services terminated.